Are you someone who's suffering from anxiety, from depression, where no medicine is helping, where no doctors can figure it out? Have you also had a terrible pain like a trigeminal neuralgia, a facial pain, where doctors can't figure it out and they just leave you with the pain and say you're just going to have to accept it for the rest of your life? If you suffer with symptoms like these, take a moment, watch this brief excerpt of this testimonial video from this woman. Her name is Natalie. She's happy to share with you of her incredible recovery from my work and my work alone. She had brain cancer, and after they performed the surgery and the brain cancer came back 3 times after they performed the surgery, the facial pain started and it never let up. The anxiety, the depression started and it never let up. Let's take a moment and hear about her incredible results. We'll just take about a minute or two and watch this excerpt of her testimonial. And when we come back, I'm going to make you a free offer. I'm going to share with you her unique exam findings that I discovered and what we treated to get out of her brain and her body to give her these really impressive, life-saving results. And then you'll watch her whole testimonial video. So we'll be right back. I'll see you soon. The facial pain with you, Natalie, you had tumors.
Yes.
By the brain.
Doctors did not know what was going on with me. They said actually that quality of life is just going to get worse and worse and you'll eventually die, which of course I wasn't satisfied with that. So hearing was bad, seeing was bad. I wasn't walking very well. I was falling down. At the end there, it got to maybe about every 3-4 steps I would fall. And I couldn't taste my food.
And then a neurologist found the tumor by your brain?
The neurologist found the biggest brain tumor he said he's ever seen. I didn't know I had trigeminal neuralgia, neither did they. They
did a surgery back then in that 1989. They took that tumor out. And then you had 2 more tumors that developed.
It was 2002 was the surgery, and then 2012.
When you came to me in 2020,
it was bad.
It was bad.
And if I got stressed or extremely tired, I would get pains. And that's when the patient was a friend who told us about coming to you and you helped her. And I ended up coming to you and she ended up being my daughter-in-law. So, and she ended up taking my son there to you too. So, but back to me, those pains, coming to you helped those pains a lot. I mean,
you actually overcome the pain, help you stop the pain.
Yes, yes.
You're speaking now, you got a smile on your face. When I first met you, the tears were always in tears because the pain was so bad. So on a scale of 0 to 10, when 10 is the worst pain you could ever imagine, what was your trigeminal neuralgia when you first came to me, August of 2020?
10 is the worst. I would say that's when I had the brain tumors, especially the last 2.
And now what is it? Is it safe to say the pain is non-existent now?
Yeah, life is free of pain, pretty much. Yeah,
free of pain, free of facial pain.
That was what my life was. I was always expecting, am I going to get pain? Am I going to get pain? And now I can say I live my life. I am happy. And I don't even think of this pain until, oh my goodness, I got a pinprick. Is the pain going to come back? Well, no. Okay, let's carry on with life. And that's the way it's been. I mean, I am extremely happy. And yes, I could cry, Dr. Herman. And if I could reach out to you right now, I would give you a hug because I mean, I have my life back. I am excited because I'm pretty much pain-free. And I never expected this at all. Never.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you
for doing all this work and helping us. I mean, helping my family. If anybody is out there who has trigeminal neuralgia and they told them there is absolutely no hope, well, don't believe it. Go try. Give Dr. Herman a try. I mean, you take a drop per night. You know, it's really no big deal. The hardest thing is to remember to take the drop 5 minutes after you eat or 5 minutes before you drink water or something like that. That's the hardest part.
It is incredible. And I'll tell you, her sciatica pain that she had, it's gone. Her jaw pain, gone. Facial pain, gone. All the pains, all the even emotional pains, gone. And through unique exam steps that I provided her, these symptoms are gone, and she's happy now and pain-free. So I'm going to take just a moment and make you that free offer, and then I'll be right back and share with you her unique exam findings. You can go on my website and download my book for free, but how you can reclaim your health, how you can use quantum energized medicine protocols to actually reverse seemingly incurable chronic illnesses or chronic diseases. Download my book, read it. It's very simple, 40 pages. Maybe it'll take you about an hour. And inside that book, there are a lot of big pictures. It's big font. There's not too much reading, literally maybe an hour. There are 3 links inside my book that you should click on and read more about my work, about my unique quantum food sensitivity assessment examination that we perform on every patient, about my quantum dental assessment, as well as on the very last page, I highly recommend, because you're going to want to know how I do what I do for people. I give a brief insight to that on my journey as a physician to become your physician who gives you the answers, as well as into my method of how I'm doing what I'm doing and the science behind it. On the very last page, click that link. It brings you to a private page on my website. And on this page, you can watch a 42-minute video in where I'm presenting my journey as a physician, the type of labs I used to run, my education, my background, as well as my method, okay? All right, what I discovered with Natalie causing her symptoms was she had aspergillus fungus in her sinuses, she had streptococcus bacteria in her lungs, she had mold in her sinuses, she had influenza virus affecting her nose. She had anesthesia chemicals from previous surgeries that were deeply lodged in a part of the brain called the amygdala, which is the fear, panic, anxiety part of the brain. And when chemicals get into that part of the brain, it can stress that part of the brain and make that part of your brain cause anxiety and even cause pain in your face or your body. We provided safe and highly effective liquid energized drops to get these chemicals and infections out of these areas of her lungs and her sinuses and her brain that I've reported to you so far. I found that in a part of the brain called the temporal lobe, there's one on the right and one on the left, she was infected with the influenza virus. Her lungs had the Epstein-Barr virus. Her stomach, her intestines, she had Roundup weed killer spray and dental anesthesia chemicals and surgical anesthetic chemicals that were deeply embedded into those digestive organs. Her large intestine, there was Lyme disease infections. She had malaria parasitic infection. Her thyroid, Lyme disease infection. The amygdala, again, I found in this first exam, influenza A virus. I also found that she had dengue fever viral infection affecting her frontal lobe of her brain, and Lyme infection affecting the meninges, the tissues around the brain and spinal cord. That first visit was August of 2020. She came back to me in January of 2021, and the anxiety was gone at that time. The ear ringing was gone by that time. With some other very deep emotional work that I did with her, and I'll get to that on a specific page on my website. You'll be able to go there very soon and understand from a very deep level of understanding that there are organs and there are parts of your brain that when they're stressed by infections and chemicals can make the brain chemistries imbalanced and make the brain not feel normal and have depression or have anxiety or have hopeless. And when we can clean up those organs and clean up those parts of the brain from these different infections and chemicals, the brain can settle down and function normally. Watch this video that I did about activated mast cells or mast cell activation syndrome. Watch that 23-minute video, get more information about that. We're very effective when we can neutralize these out of the body with this method that I work with. I found in her follow-up exam in January of 2021, her liver was infected with major parasitic infection and major fungal infection. She had residues of antibiotics like Flagyl and Levaquin in her liver. Her brain had multiple types of candida fungal infections. Her brain was infected with the Epstein-Barr virus and the St. Louis encephalitis virus. Her brain was toxic with arsenic. I found also that her liver had residues of various vaccine chemicals. I found her ear canal was infected with mold and scabies infection. I also found that she had mold in a sensory part of the brain called the parietal lobe. We have parts of the brain called the parietal lobe that tells the body how to feel. When there's an infection in the part of the brain that tells your arm how to feel or your face how to feel, when this is infected and this part of the brain is stressed, you can feel pain in the limb or in the face or in the leg. She came back to me 5 months later in June of 2021 for her final examination with me. I found mercury affecting the brain function. I found mercury affecting her heart function. I found her brain had chemicals from the tetanus shot from many years ago. I found that her brain had the DPT, diphtheria and pertussis chemicals from those injections, from those vaccines in her brain. I found that the residues from gas from the heating system and the cooking that she does, gas carries mercury. Even the gasoline at the pump, there's mercury that comes out of that aroma or that odor that we breathe in when we're pumping gas. Well, that gas, or the chemicals, or the mercury, I should say better, from the gas was infecting or affecting her lymphatic system and her kidneys. I found her spleen infected with aspergillus fungus. I found her small intestine infected with MARCoNS. That's a multiple antibiotic-resistant staph infection. I found that her amygdala of her brain that controls the anxiety was loaded with mold toxins. I found those same mold toxins in her liver. And I found also that her trachea, or the breathing airway, she had multiple fungal infections and mercury in the cortex of her brain. Again, the highly effective liquid energized drops were provided her to match the energy of these different toxins and infections in the places where they're located that I discovered, that I reported to you, and the body can easily get these different infections and chemicals out. And for her, it's nothing short of life-saving and life-changing, and it gave her her life back. This woman, when I met her, she was in tears. Everything made her cry. Anything, any sentence, any experience, she was crying all the time. The facial pain was unbearable. She always thought she was getting cancer coming back in her brain, and that's rightfully so. That's scary. The ear ringing, the whole experience was terrible for her. And now she's happy. So in just another moment, we're going to switch to her complete video testimonial, and you get to hear all of what she had to share about how amazing she feels and how much she's enjoying her life now. I just want to share with you that the type of care that I'm offering, while we can do it for you and get the job done, it may take a few visits. It may be done in one visit. The sooner you're better, the sooner you feel good, the happier I'm going to be, the happier you're going to be, and the better it is for everybody else. It's better for me, it's better for you, it's better for your family, it's better for everybody in the chronic disease world out there, because the sooner you're better, I'll be able to share your amazing experience with everybody, like how you're watching Natalie's results right now. You too can be one of my prized trophy, one of my prized patients who's gotten so much better with my work. You too can get on video with me and share your story with everybody out there and help another person get well. So the sooner you're better, I get what I want, which is you on video with me sharing about your results with everybody else out there. Okay? This is not about taking too long to get you better, but what I don't know is how many different infections, how many different toxins have entered your brain, have entered your lymphatic system, your organs, your bones, your muscles, your lymph, your glands. How many different infections and toxins have made you so ill compared to what caused Natalie to be so ill for so many years? It all might take a little more time than you want or what you hope for, yet expect that you can get the results that you want, that I want for you, that you want for you, that your family and friends want for you. All right, so just know that you will have to invest in yourself. This type of care that I offer is not covered by insurance companies. That is unfortunate, yet the fortunate thing is I can help you and you can get better. So now you can call my clinic and become my patient here. My number is 954-370-3100. That's 954-370-3100. You can email my clinic at clinic@drlonnieherman.com. You can also go visit my website. Besides downloading my free ebook, and that was the gift I gave you earlier in this video, you can also go on my website and book your appointment right there. So if you don't feel like calling my clinic and speaking to my lovely assistant, who'll be very happy to help you, or emailing my clinic again and getting in touch with my lovely assistant who's very happy to help you schedule your appointment with me, you can just go right to my website, click book appointment. You can make a payment right there. You can schedule it on the calendar, and you too can get on your journey to getting your life back. All right, I look forward to helping you. I do believe that you can get better. Stay tuned, watch the rest of Natalie's amazing testimonial. It's very inspirational. I'm grateful that she was able to get on the call with me and share it with you. And I look forward to helping you too. See you soon. Hi, I'm Dr. Lonnie Herman. I'm with a great patient of mine, and her whole family also became patients here. This is Natalie. And Natalie had come to my clinic originally referred by another very happy patient. Natalie had suffered with intense facial pain for a very long time. She had suffered what's called trigeminal neuralgia. She also had terrible anxiety to accompany this terrible facial pain. She also had a terrible sciatica problem, leg pain, and that was really intense. And the facial pain with you, Natalie, started after you had surgery or before the surgery because you had tumors by the brain, right?
Yes.
And when was the first tumor that you had been diagnosed with? When was that?
Let's see. I know I had the surgery in February of 1989, but I think I suffered with it for 3 years. The doctors did not know what was going on with me. They said actually that the quality of life is just going to get worse and worse, and you'll eventually die, which of course I wasn't satisfied with that. But
for you to first notice there was a problem, I'm sorry to interrupt. For you to first notice there was a problem, you had you were losing vision, your hand function, walking function.
Yes, it started with me falling down. I remember I was in college walking across the cafeteria with a tray of food, and the next thing you know, I was on the floor. A dainty fall, but still a fall. And that happened, I think, about 3 times. And I remember telling my mom, something's going on. And I thought, well, balance is inner ear. Let's go to an ear specialist, and started with an ear specialist and ended up at a neurologist over that 3-year mark. By then, when I got to the neurologist, I had lost, falling down and hitting myself walking to a door. Because I guess my eyes weren't tracking right or something. And then, and I couldn't hear very well. When the person is very confused and, can't tell what's going on in the room, that was my life. So I couldn't see very well at that time either. My glasses were getting stronger and stronger prescription, and it just wasn't working. So hearing was bad, seeing was bad. I wasn't walking very well. I was falling down. At the end, they got to maybe about every 3-4 steps I would fall.
Wow.
So, it's like you have to think about, I want to cross this room. Do I really want to do it? And I couldn't taste my food.
Wow. And then a neurologist found the tumor by your brain?
The neurologist found the biggest brain tumor he said he's ever seen. And that time, MRIs were in 89. I mean, well, super expensive too. And he said, what we saw in the MRI, I know it will be still a surprise when we open you up. So that was the beginning of that journey. And when I did meet the neurosurgeon, he told me, you will, and the pains were, I didn't know I had trigeminal neuralgia, neither did they. The pains were only happening when I got extremely tired and I would yawn, and then it seems like my mouth got stuck open.
And that time, I'm sorry to interrupt, at that time, was it only on the right side of your face or on the left side, or was it both? Okay.
I think it was both, but I think maybe it was mostly the right at that time.
When they did a surgery back then in that 1989 or 1990 period of time, they took that tumor out, and then you had 2 more tumors that developed.
Yes, it was 2002 was the surgery. I had, I ended up with extreme pain in my face. That's the only reason I went to a neurologist was because I ended up with this terrible pains in my face again. Went to an internist who referred me to a neurologist who told me it was a regrowth when I got an MRI, a regrowth of the brain tumor, that I have trigeminal neuralgia and I need a surgery again. And then 2012, it happened again. And immediately upon that terrible, terrible pain, because in between, the pain is there, but it's not extreme. That was pain that I could not tolerate every day. It was so bad.
It was so bad. When they took out the tumor the first time, did the pain in the face go away at all? Or it just decreased, yes, but it was still there?
That was, I think that was totally gone. That's why when 2002, when the pain started again, I said, oh my gosh, honey, I think this is the same pain.
So between 2002 and 2012, when they took out the tumor in 2002, did the facial pain disappear, or it only decreased in severity?
It decreased. It was occasional pain. The weather, bad weather coming in. At that time, we were in Colorado. When a storm front was coming in, it would come. The barometric pressure fluctuations, I think, affected me. The cold wind brushing my face, I remember, just triggered terrible pains.
The third time that it happened, the tumor by the back of your brain, when they took that tumor out, because you felt the facial pain develop really severe again, they took the tumor out. Did that facial pain did it remain severe until we started working together? Or was it decreased by 10% when they took the tumor out the third time, 20%, 30%? Was there any decrease in severity?
There was a decrease from that day when I got the bad pains and I told my husband, this is it again, we have to go to the doctor. That was such a bad pain that I cannot imagine living with that every day. Now, when the pains did come, I mean, there were times when, there wasn't any pain, say it would be a week or something like that. Life is calm, the weather is good, and there was no pain. But when it hit, it was severe. It was bad. I cannot say that it was once per week. I can't really give you a time, Dr. Herman. It's amazing that this pain is so severe, but when it's not there, you almost forget about it.
Yeah, sure.
I know that sounds stupid,
but when you came to me in 2020,
it was bad.
For this care, it was there. It was bad, and it was constant.
Yes, it was, and it was,
it was constant, pretty much every day.
Every night. Every few days.
And there was no tumor.
No. It was just the tumors destroyed the trigeminal nerve. I mean,
at least that's what they told you. That's what they told you.
And they told me that I would have that pain for the rest of my life until that nerve regenerated, which took many, 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 many years, and it might never happen.
Right.
And seeing that I had recurring tumors, meaning that it just got messed up again, even if it was a little bit healing. We had moved, my husband, we made a decision for a family to move to sea level from Colorado, which I think we were near 7,000 or 7,500 feet, to move away from there, from the cold, from that altitude, to get to where, it was warmer.
Change in pressure, right?
Change in pressure a little better for me, which, was great, but still I had pains with, we were near the beach, half a mile from the beach. And I think the barometric pressure fluctuations were still there, and I would still get pains. And if I got stressed or extremely tired, I would get pains. And so it was still a life of pain, not as much as with the cold, but still quite a bit of pain. Then that's when the patient was a friend who told us about coming to you, and you helped her. And I ended up coming to you, and she ended up being my daughter-in-law. So, and she ended up taking my son there to you too, and you helped him greatly. And I saw my son go from, I thought was a near skeletal young man because he was so ill, to just a thriving young man who now has a wife and a child. So yes. So, but back to me, those pains coming to you help those pains a lot. I mean,
you actually overcome the pain, help you stop the pain.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. My life was so good that we actually decided to move back, not to Colorado, but to a very, one of the cold states. And
You're living in a high elevation. You're living in the
higher
mountains now, high
elevation too. We are
elevation.
back to
And cold
30,
weather.
yes,
And there's
3,500
no,
feet.
and is that, you're still feeling, you're wonderful,
Yes.
right? You're speaking now, you got a smile on your face. When I first
Yes.
met you, the tears were, you were
Yes,
always
I
in
know.
tears because the pain was so bad. You were always
And
anxious.
anticipating the pain.
Yeah. And so now
Oh,
here you are back to the high level elevation, and it's not causing the pain, and the cold weather not causing
and
the
cold. I
pain.
mean, we got to sub-zero,
Yeah.
8 below quite a few days, and I was fine.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, when 10 is the worst pain you could ever imagine, what was your trigeminal neuralgia in the face here? What was your trigeminal neuralgia when you first came to me, August of 2020? How bad was it? 10 is the worst it could be. 0 is no pain.
Okay, 10 is the worst. I would say that's when I had the brain tumors, especially the last two. When I was getting those pains, it was 7 or an 8.
7 or 8. And after your first or maybe your second protocol with me, which is pretty easy for you to follow, after your first or second protocol, the pain was reduced to
2?
2. And now what is it?
Oh my goodness. I would say when I do get it, which is rare occasions, I would feel like somebody stabs me with a pin. And then
how long does that last for? And how long does that last, that pin?
Nanosecond.
A nanosecond. So,
Yeah.
but otherwise there is it safe to say the pain is non-existent now?
Yeah,
non-existent.
like free
0.
of pain, pretty much. Yeah,
free of pain, free of facial pain. And the anxiety that you had back then? 0 to 10, if we can say of severity and how often it was that every day, the anxiety?
Maybe not every day, but it was a lot.
It was a lot. And severity, 10 is the worst, anxious, fear, panic, heart rate, crying.
When if I just went through, a very stressful time getting, my daughter's wedding together and a destination wedding, which was difficult too. She did a lot of the work too, of course, but still, I got, I think, one anxiety attack and maybe a 2 compared to what it used to be before. I felt life was out of control.
Life is out of control. And now, of course, because you're stressed, because you're helping your daughter plan a wedding and you just have a new grandbaby in the house. And so there's a lot of stress there. But before planning the wedding, was there any anxiety?
No, nothing like that.
It was like the world was coming to an end back then.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Everything
No,
for you. Everything for you back then, I remember it was tears. Everything.
Yes.
You were crying. And now you're smiling.
I know, I cried.
Everything was crying. Everything was crying. You were worried about everything. Let me ask you this also. So the anxiety is basically, it's gone, except for some times of stress, which is understandable. Anybody who's planning a wedding or just had a baby is going to be stressed. So.
Right. Yeah. Now I just have to say, breathe.
Yeah. Okay. But that's okay. I mean, you're dealing with other things, but it's not the world coming to an end what it used to be. No. And that's over.
Not at all.
And your other symptom that you had was the right leg. You called it sciatica. That's gone. How severe was that? 0 to 10, if 10 is the worst?
It reminded me of the trigeminal pain. Actually, it was so sharp. I'd say maybe about a 7. I'm sure it could be worse. It could have been worse, but it was bad enough that if I was walking, I had to stop, rest a while, maybe stretch it out. No, nothing. And
now it's gone. So we're pretty pleased with the outcome of this care.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. One more time, if I can go back with those epidermoid tumors that you had when the trigeminal pain happened and stayed after they pulled it out the third time that they extracted that from your skull. The pain stayed in the face, and the doctors told you might just damage to the trigeminal nerve. You may just have to live with this for the rest of your life, unless you're lucky and it regenerates itself. But pretty much, this is it. And
he did say that they can do microsurgery or something like that on the nerve, but which might, instead of helping, might make it worse. And that will be it for the rest of my life. I said, I'll take the chance of doing nothing, which of course, I had to, decided that, well, this is the way life is going to be. And I am pretty thankful that you did help me with this, because it's not something you want to live with every day. It's not, I mean, and I'd say if anybody has trigeminal pains I mean, just give it a try with you, because it can't get worse. It can only get better. I have to tell you a little story. I went to Italy on a trip with my daughter. Everywhere I go, I have to think of, well, is this going to get better? You know, is the pains going to be there? You know, what's going to happen? I mean, that is in the back of my mind, because it was a part of my life for so long. And I met this one lady. She said, I heard you say you have trigeminal neuralgia. And I said, yes, I do. And she said, you know, one day I woke up with the worst pains I ever had in my life. And I said, yeah. And she said that she had some surgery, decompression surgery or something like that. But she didn't have a brain tumor. She was just normal, but she had this pain once, or, you know, for that. And she went to the doctor. But she said, I am always expecting that pain to come back. And, you know, that was what my life was. I was always expecting, am I going to get pain? Am I going to get pain? And now I can say I live my life. I am happy. And I don't even think of this pain until, oh my goodness, I got a pinprick. Is the pain going to come back? Well, no. Okay, let's carry on with life. And that's the way it's been. I mean, I am extremely happy. And yes, I could cry, Dr. Herman. And if I could reach out to you right now, I would give you a hug, because I mean, I have my life back. I really do. And, you know, I mean, I'm looking forward to this time of, you know, 2 kids are married now, and this is my time with my husband. And I am excited because I'm pretty much pain-free, and I never expected this at all. Never.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
you for doing all this work and helping us. I mean, helping my family. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So if anybody is out there who has trigeminal neuralgia and they told them there is absolutely no hope, well, don't believe it. Go try. Give Dr. Herman a try. I mean, you take a drop per night. You know, it's really no big deal. The hardest thing is to remember to take the drop 5 minutes after you eat, or 5 minutes before you drink water, or something like that. That's the hardest part. I remember thinking something's going on, because I remember one night I got a headache, and I said to my husband, honey, something is going on, because why would I get a headache? So this drop must be so potent. It must have some properties in there that can help me. And then when the pain started lessening, it was like, you know, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
So yes,
Awesome.
Try it.
Thank you for sharing this with everybody.
You are welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate you doing this on your time, and everybody else out there appreciates you too. People with pain, people who think that life is coming to an end and they can't get over it because their doctors tell them that it's impossible to get better, it's incurable, or it's you know, if they can't help them and the medicine can't help them, then they're stuck with it. And you and I have proved them wrong, and your body had that ability to heal. We just had to unleash it. We had to find what was causing the symptoms still and get rid of those causes. Really grateful that you came on this call today and shared with the world. And I'm so happy for you and your whole family.
Thank you, Dr. Herman. You take care. Bye-bye.